Democrat-led remediation. Disapproval overall on President Trump for his early actions in his second term. The latest Marquette Law School poll shows nationally that a majority of people think the country's on the wrong track, mostly disapproving of the tariffs, continued inflation, spending cuts, and foreign policy, especially of the Russia-Ukraine war. Voters approved of the president's border security policies, his handling of immigration, and are in favor of tax cuts. They also say landing on Mars should not be a priority. A federal judge demanding more information about a deportation flight attorneys say is bound for South Sudan. Here's ABC's Terry Moran.
Overnight, a federal judge in Boston demanded answers from the Trump administration about whether the government has deported migrants to South Sudan in violation of immigration law. Lawyers representing a group of migrants say that at least two of them, one from Myanmar, the other from Vietnam, have been told they would be sent to the war-torn East African country without having had an opportunity required by law to contest their removal on the basis of a fear that their lives or freedom could be threatened there.
A hearing on the alleged deportations convening in Boston this hour. Attorneys for migrants also say the Trump administration is trying to deport people to Libya. A tragic update from University of Wisconsin-Platteville.
UW-Platteville has confirmed the deaths of two 22-year-old college students on campus was a shooting, more specifically a murder-suicide. Wilgus Hall Assistant Resident Director and recent psychology graduate Kelsey Martin was found injured by a gunshot wound and transported to the UW hospital where she died from her injuries. Elementary education major Hallie Helms was found dead on scene. Her gunshot wound was self-inflicted. All remaining exams have been canceled, and UW-Platteville is providing counseling for students. The investigation is ongoing. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 354 points this hour. The Nasdaq up 23, S&P 500 down 19. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
We've all experienced that feeling of lacing up a brand new pair of shoes.
And for some reason, it always felt like new shoes made you run faster, jump higher, and of course, look better.
Yeah, it was almost magical.
A brand new set of tires on your car or truck will instantly give you that same magical feeling.
Courtney, I couldn't agree with you more. A new set of treads always makes your vehicle look better, but more importantly, allows you to stop faster and grip the road a whole lot better.
Which is necessary when the weather is bad and driving conditions are poor. You'll appreciate having the extra traction.
Remember, there isn't a tire brand on the planet we can't get.
Everything from Goodyear Continental and Kelly to Dunlop, General, and Pirelli. If we sell it, we install it.
Plus, every tire we sell automatically comes with free flat tire repair. So be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you've got good tread on your tires. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Such a refreshing change. Richlands.
It's WTMJ's Debbie Loziga for Comfort Awnings. You've heard me talk about the wonderful retractable awning the team at Comfort Awnings installed at my home. Well, spring is here, and it's the perfect time for you to get an awning installed on your porch, deck, or patio just in time for the beautiful weather. Comfort Awnings is a local family-owned company in Burlington that provides expert installation in southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. Right now, you can receive $150 off your purchase. Call 414-AWNINGS or visit comfortawnings.com to learn more.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Get your aches and pains under control. But not only that, regular care with Connect Chiro can bring back your energy. A lot of folks start with headaches, back pain, and shoulder pain. How quickly you see results varies from person to person, but time and repetition are the key to staying on track. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. Connect Chiro docs use a special tool for all your adjustments, targeted results, and a gentler experience. Check out the new location in Oak Creek or get started at goconnectchiro.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers have won 3 in a row, thanks in large part to the efforts of Logan Henderson. The rookie's been the winning pitcher in each of his first 3 starts, marking a first in Brewers franchise history.
Gallardo, Sheets, Burns, Peralta, Woodruff, none of them accomplished what Logan Henderson did on Tuesday night. Henderson became the first Brewers pitcher to win each of his first 3 starts. In his own words.
Yeah, it's hard to wrap my head around, to be quite honest. I mean, there's been so many great arms in this team's history, and it's hard to believe. I'll have to sit on that one for a long time.
Henderson went for 5 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. From American Family Field, I'm Dominic Cotroneo.
Brewers looking to sweep the series with the Orioles today at AmFam Field. Coverage starts at 11:35 a.m. right here on WTMJ. Take a look at your WTMJ time saver traffic. We do have a disabled vehicle off on the right shoulder. This is going to be I-43 south at Holt Avenue. Also I-43 south about a quarter of a mile beyond Wisconsin Highway 100. The right shoulder there also blocked due to a broken down vehicle.
Traffic is sponsored by Capri Community's Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. Live life to the fullest at Capri's Enjoy Life Symposium on June 4th. This free event for older adults includes speakers, exhibitors, activities, and more. Register at enjoylifesymposium.com.
Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Light rain today, breezy, high today only 48. Scattered light showers tonight, low 44. Light showers early tomorrow, then mostly cloudy. Should clear up later on with a high Thursday 54. Partly cloudy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We've got highs all 3 days around or in the upper 50s lakeside to the lower to mid 60s inland. Right now, Madison's at 45, Green Bay 48, Milwaukee 44 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Listen, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
We celebrated.
Indeed.
We celebrated here on Point Taken. It is Hump Day.
It is hump day. It's like Jazz could read your mind to know to play that because you had already made the joke in the lead up during the commercial break. I'm like, you know what day it is, right?
For me, it's a big day because, my work week is intense. I juggle a lot of different things as we go, as you do you. You're a young mom and you've got like 8 billion jobs. A lot of juggling. So when you get to Wednesday, and you get through that Wednesday, the hump, as they say, you're on your way to the weekend.
I know, but sometimes it's also anxiety fueled as far as like, I have not gotten, especially in a week when you're sick like I am.
Yeah.
Like I haven't gotten enough done this week. Like I need more time.
I have no power whatsoever at GKB and our WTMJ, but, take a day off if you need to.
No, I know.
But
I took a day off last week, so I feel...
Yeah.
I also like being here with you.
I don't know if you know this. I appreciate that. I don't know if you know. I could do a show by myself on a day.
Can you?
Oh, yeah.
Did you do that for a while?
I could, I think. Yeah. All right, so many things to talk about. We have a shortened show today.
You want to start with the new Marquette Law School poll.
Yes, I love it.
Why?
Because it gives us a sense. I'm first of all, big fan of Charles Franklin.
No, same.
This
is nothing about their ability to poll well. It's just, is this the biggest story of the day?
In my mind, it is, because it gives me a sense of what the public is thinking. Now, I'm going to give you like the overview. Now, this is a national study on what people are thinking.
National poll.
Yeah, national poll.
But done by local pollsters.
But well-respected,
yes.
Gold standard in the state, and well-respected across the country. That's a given for me, and I know some people are like, oh, I don't trust polls. Get over yourself. Polls are a snapshot at a specific time of what the public is thinking, whether that's an election. In this case, it's sort of more across the president's job approval numbers. And number two, my other big takeaway, the issues of the day, what people care about. Let's start with job approval. Donald Trump. None of this is surprising to me because we talk about the president and we talk about his performance. Net approval, his positives, not surprising, border security. Something he ran on, something he's certainly done a lot of in his first few months in office. Everything beyond that is in the negative, whether it's overall, -8. Foreign policy, -14. The economy, which I'll get to in a second, -16. The Russia-Ukraine war, Zelensky, Putin, Trump, -20. Tariffs, boom, -26. And this is the big takeaway on both of these measures, job approval and big issues. Inflation and cost of living, -32. That's a big, significant approval drop for the president. His plus numbers are 34 on that one, and his disapproval is 66%. All right, so if you remember the election last year, seems like so long ago. What was the big?
Has it been 6 months? No, this would be 6 months.
Well, December. Well, most of November. Well, since taking office, 6 months.
Well, no, not since. No,
5
but
months.
Like it's been since the election. It's been
Absolutely.
6 or 7 months. I'm bad with math today.
Me too, and I'm bad at math always, not just on the show. So if you remember the election, what were the big? The gas and groceries,
yes,
and border policy / immigration / crime. Those are the big issues. I'll just go down the list. As of, this was early, when were the numbers? Survey, May 5th to May 15th. So pretty recent. What's the date today? 20th, 21st?
21st.
Okay. Pretty recent polling of Americans. The number one issue, and I'm not surprised by this, but this is important because I think it's going to measure the conduct, the actions, ultimately the tenure of this second term of Donald Trump. The number one issue for Americans, inflation and the cost of living. 36% of the entire sampling base. It almost doubles what's number two, which is threats to democracy, which is also a significant one. Well down the list are the things that we talked about during the November run-up. Immigration, border security, just 9% of this polling sample said it was the most important.
So this is what people are saying their most important issue is.
Right now, or as of last week. And I think it's significant because it shows you what Americans are thinking. So much about elections are the commercials and the rallies and the pressers and all of the hoopla related to our every 4-year cycle. But when you get down to the post-election, when you get down to the inauguration and the first few months, it's about the real things that matter to us. And I can guarantee you, and I believe in these numbers, that inflation, the cost of living, is driving this sense of polling, this sense of dissatisfaction with the President of the United States. What do you think?
Well, no, I also just don't think whoever the president is, the cost of living, and I don't even mean inflation, the cost of living, if you look at any graph of what it costs to buy a house, rent, cars, all healthcare, all of the different childcare, all of the different things of what it costs over time as compared to what average wages are.
Yeah, way up.
It is totally out of whack. And that has nothing actually to do with just inflation. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with just inflation. It is just the fact that things are getting more expensive and people's wages are not keeping up. And it has been like this for a while. So there is, until we increase minimum wage, have some kind of, people don't like this, but have some, the gap between what CEOs make and their lowest earner is insane compared to what it used to be. And so there's like a huge part of the wealth inequality that is, I don't think whoever the president is actually was going to change that. And we're going to keep having these flip-flopping, I'm like voting for change elections because it is a core systematic problem.
And it's not just the president.
It's not just the president.
State level too, because states have roles in these things. What they do with their workforce, how they supplement or augment people's incomes, whether that's credits, tax credits, or whatever it is, to help them with things like child care or job training or all the things that cost money. You are exactly right when you say they haven't kept up, the wages. And that sort of goes back 20 years or more when companies decided it was always customer first. Well, companies decided 20 plus years ago, shareholders first. Once they made that decision, it was less about pensions. We've seen pensions go away. It was less about keeping the customers happy. What can we get away with? What can we trim? What can we cut? What can we do to our employees to not only keep them, but trim, what they would say, the fats of what we have to pay our employees. Once that decision was made, it's hard to come back to that. Do we have to? Yes.
Yes, but it's all, we have to go to break, but it's also the fact of like private equity. How private equity, like industry after industry after industry, they're just gobbling up companies and hollowing them out.
Yeah.
And
For cash.
For bottom line profit. And that is a bigger thing that doesn't actually reflect on the president, but the buck stops there. So that's why we come back to these numbers.
And I always remind people, greed and selfishness are not good attributes.
They're not.
They're not.
All right. Point taken.
That's a good warm up.
You said you were sharp today. You weren't kidding.
No, I'm ready for this show. She is Kristin. I am Steve. Let's take a break. Back right after this.
Spring is in the air, the perfect time to kickstart those home improvement dreams. Hi, Gene Miller here for my friends at Hometown Windows and Doors. They're your local experts in stylish, energy-efficient upgrades. Boost your curb appeal and add real value with top brands like Pella, Anderson, Marvin, and more. All customized to fit your home and your style. Wood, vinyl, or fiberglass, they've got it all. And their newly remodeled New Berlin showroom is the place to start. That's Hometown with an E for your every window and door need. Visit hometownwindows.com today.
Highlight your long weekend when the Brewers kick off a 3-game series against the Red Sox on Memorial Day, featuring the best way to start summer, Dollar Hot Dog Day. Keep the summer vibes going into the week as kids and seniors can get 50% off select tickets at the game on Wednesday, May 28th. What's better than a long weekend? Brewers baseball and dollar hot dogs. Find your seats today at brewers.com.
Historic Fox & Hound Supper Club gift cards make perfect year-round birthday, anniversary, and thank you gifts. With the buy one dinner, get one free offer, it's like getting a free gift card. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com and enjoy your free dinner.
The leader in the dugout, the skipper, the man who riles up the crew with his words of inspiration.
You mean my old ass? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, that's our guy. Brewers manager Pat Murphy joins Wisconsin's Morning News every Tuesday at 8:45 for Brewers 360.
We're a team that the other team's going to feel us. You know, you're not going to walk away from a series and not be felt. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Brewers 360 is sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited and Big Fish Contracting.
What's that look for?
I was looking at jazz. This is some fiery music. I love it.
All right. Moving on.
Let's play the music for a while.
We're going to touch on this briefly, only because it is my alma mater.
Yeah. Let's say what it is.
Madison West. So Madison West students. So this is, if you don't know Madison well, there are 4 high schools. Now, there's Middleton and stuff, but there's Madison East, there's Madison West, there's Memorial, which I think is now actually called Villar Phillips, and La Follette. I went to Madison West. It's down the street from Camp Randall, so very close to University of Wisconsin-Madison. And at least when I was there, I can attest, civically engaged.
Yeah, because where they live. Yeah,
where you live, there's a lot of professors who send their kids there. So this story does not surprise me at all. But Madison West students in the school's civics club have asked the Dane County Board to urge state lawmakers to lower the voting age to 16 for school board elections.
Right.
Now, this is a very, very, very long shot because we actually would have to change the state constitution in order for this to happen, which we all know it would have to be 2 consecutive legislative sessions, and then it would go to a ballot or go to a referendum on the ballot. So this likely will not happen. But they got the idea from the Newark City Council, which did adopt that ordinance in January of 2024. Mm-hmm. And so, I applaud these high school students for being very engaged. I also do, and I don't think it's going to happen, so this is kind of a hypothetical conversation. But what do you think as far as the ability to vote? If you are in school and you're a civically engaged young person, the ability to vote for the people who are making decisions about your education?
No. Driving and voting.
A fast no?
Yeah, I mean, why the arbitrary age of 16? Because high school, how old are you when you start high school? Like 13?
14.
Or wouldn't they just, if they're well educated and informed and they have parents who are, professors, and wouldn't they be qualified to make because as we all know, kids are so mature now at 12, right? We give them full access to smartphones and all the internet and everything that's on there, including smut and everything else that they watch.
Smut.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those. Look, here's what I appreciate about this story. They actually care about things.
Yes.
I love that.
They want to be able to vote, right? When we have a lot of people who don't take advantage of their right to vote.
Absolutely.
I do want to applaud them for their engagement of saying, I want to have a voice in the decisions that affect my life.
I will give them praise. At the same time, I criticize people who never vote when they're 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever. I have much more praise for these young people than I do for those people. Because they're just those people that I'm talking about.
But you're also like, no, you're not going to be able to vote.
No. Because, one, it's a heavy lift. I mean, we're not changing.
In our state, it is a very heavy lift. But I just thought it was interesting. Because this goes back to the reason why we had the most recent Constitution Amendment referenda, which it was only citizens can vote.
Right. Even though
which is already the law.
Yeah, which was already the law. We're going to make it really clear.
Make it very, very clear. And so because there was other cities that were allowing people who are not citizens to vote in local elections.
Correct.
Because of local taxes and having a say in city council and like who the mayor is and school boards and stuff like that, but not voting in federal elections. And that's where that entire idea came from. So it was barring any city that ever went in Wisconsin that might go rogue and try to introduce that ordinance.
So because I'm a positive person, I want to say to the members of the Madison West Civics Club, I appreciate the thought and the effort that went into this. It shows him that you're engaged, and I look forward to seeing you vote when you're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well
Go
done.
Regents.
Well done. Yeah.
Point taken.
That's a good, absolutely point taken.
All right, but speaking of what you were saying as far as 12-year-olds with
here we go.
cell phones, those teen accounts that Instagram rolled out, not so friendly to teens. We'll talk more about that after this.
This is WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi. The time has come to honor those in public safety that have made an impact in our lives and in our communities. Join me and Kristin Brey every day this week on Point Taken as we recognize and speak with the police, firefighters, and other first responders who go above and beyond, demonstrating courage and bravery in the line of duty, making all of us safer and our communities stronger. That's every day this week on Steve Scaffidi Salute to Service on WTMJ. As always, presented by Waterstone Bank.
Ready for more fun? More friendships? More adventures?
Then it's time to become a Girl Scout. Explore the outdoors, meet forever friends, and make a difference in your community. Sign up for our extended year membership today. Girls can join for $98 and adults for $42. Start in April and enjoy up to 5 extra months of fun. The extended year membership is April 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2026, followed by a regular membership year. So what are you waiting for? Join us and be a Girl Scout.
Welcome back to Ask Hasslis. I'm Weston. What's your question?
I'm a numerologist. What's your favorite number?
48. Because right now at Hasslis Mattress, you get 48 months interest-free financing on all Tempur-Pedic and Beautyrest Black mattresses.
The number 48 is associated with stability.
Like the stability and comfort of Tempur-Pedic.
Abundance.
Like the abundance of sleep you'll get with a Beautyrest Black mattress from Hasslis.
Prosperity and wealth.
Because you get a $300 MasterCard gift card with your purchase.
The number 48 is a sign that you have chosen the right path in life.
Just like choosing your favorite Tempur-Pedic or Beautyrest Black mattress at Hasslis without commission-hungry salespeople breathing down your neck.
Really?
Yes.
Do you deliver?
Free next-day delivery.
I think 48 may be my favorite number too.
Enjoy 48 months interest-free financing on Tempur-Pedic and Beautyrest Black at Hasslis Mattress. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasslis.com.
Take your family to the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford or Oshkosh today for the Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry and just $7.99. Kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Just walk in for your $7.99 fish fry. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mine Shaft restaurant.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Well, there were high hopes for your young squad. Maybe your baby birds weren't ready to leave the nest.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Jackson Chariot. Goes deep at Coors.
The Brewers host the Orioles for a 3-game set. This series is sponsored by Steinhoffel's Memorial Day Sale. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 11:35. We are the home of the Brewers, WTMJ.
Welcome back to Point Taken. Now, we have talked, we talk a fair amount about AI and social media and the impact both on kids, but also ourselves. We were just talking this morning that I am feeling this dilemma as of late that I have built, a sizable following on social media. That's kind of where I got my start. And this feeling, that's where I get a lot of my news, but also feeling the drain of what screens are doing to my brain, what social media is doing to my brain, and how do I put better boundaries up to decouple those things so I don't, my memory isn't crap like it's become, and all of these different things that I know it's because of how much time I spend on my phone. What we know even more is how bad this is for kids, right? And when we come back from the bottom of the other news, we're actually going to talk to Mark Semmerhauser from Wisconsin Policy Forum, who recently looked at what policies are going into place for high schools for banning phones or restricting phone access in schools.
Very big topic.
But on top of this, there's the access to the phone and there's the access to social media.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, or was it already 2 years ago, Meta, which owns both Facebook and Instagram, had said that they rolled out these teen accounts.
Yeah.
That were promising that they would automatically shield teens from harmful content. Turns out, didn't really do a good job doing that. So there is a new report by Accountable Tech and Design It For Us, which is a group of young advocates, and they did an experiment where they pretended to be teens. So they signed up under these teen accounts. And guess what? They were not protected from sensitive content. In fact, they were shown lots of it, including content of not eating, so you stay thin, sexual content, and body shaming content. A lot of it. And so one, shame on Meta for even pretending that they had solved any kind of problem. And also it just comes back to, is there any, like, when are we, my first reaction when I heard this is we hear so much about the types of groups like Moms for Liberty that are spending so much energy on libraries and banning books and getting these, not appropriate content out of school libraries. Where did they have that same energy to go after Meta? Because I promise you there is way more content being consumed on your kids' phones from these accounts, or just any access to any porn site that's out there that you're like, are you 18? Sure. Versus what the books are checking out from their school library. So it's like, where is this same energy to hold these companies accountable?
My simple answer to that question you just asked is because the folks like Zuckerberg and Bezos and Musk are now in the friendly camp. That is, they have endorsed conservative elected officials, including the President of the United States. So we don't want to, rile their feathers at all. It is clearly the case that this access and whatever controls is not working.
It's not working.
And here's an example. I'm not a kid, but I'm an adult. So I only go on Twitter now to post my show content or share something from 620 WTMJ. Otherwise, I have no use for it because it's a place of trolls.
You're not spitting hot takes anymore?
Not anymore. I'll do that on the show. That's
you have a platform. You have another space so you can do that.
Absolutely. And I also have podcasts. So I go on yesterday I think I was sharing something about Salute to Service. And there's a for you and a following. And this thing always flips to for you. And then you know what happens on Twitter when you see the for you? It's all kinds of stuff that you're not necessarily wanting to see. Including my father who goes, God, there's a lot of porn on there now.
Your dad's on Twitter?
Yeah. Because he follows me.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is kind of cool. He's 89.
Yeah,
I think that's
great.
awesome. But that's the reality.
Maybe it's great. I don't know.
There's no
depends on what he's clicking on.
So there's no to this point though, to this question, there's no control over any of this stuff. Wish we had more time. Let's dig into this.
Let's dig into this because we'll talk to Mark after this as far as what's possible as far as controlling school phones in schools. But I think there's a lot more to get to when it comes to this topic and when it comes to social media and what we're shown day in and day out.
Yeah, so we got a shortened show today. We got early Brewers, which is exciting. I think they're on a 3-game winning streak. We got Mark Summerhauser coming up next. Don't forget the last half hour, Salute to Service. Got a great one today. Local chaplain for many fire departments in our area and also pastors. Very cool story. So we got local news with Connie Weber. And before we get to any of that now, here's the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubosky. The House Rules Committee is still debating the future of President Trump's tax plan. Among other things, the bill would make the 2017 tax cuts permanent and make substantial changes to Medicaid. Federal immigration officials have been tight-lipped about where they sent 8 migrants allegedly being deported to countries that are not their own. According to Acting Immigration and Customs Director Todd Lyons, the migrants were convicted of crimes ranging from murder to sexual assault, and their home countries wouldn't take them back.
ICE detention isn't punitive. We detain and remove. After 6 months or 180 days, if we don't have a country that'll take their citizens back, we do have an option to find a safe third country.
But a federal judge says the removals potentially violate an order that requires the government to give the migrants an opportunity to challenge the deportations. The Department of Justice now says it's dropping various reform agreements it had with police departments in Louisville and Minneapolis. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1031. I'm Connie Weber. An update on that hours-long standoff in Fredonia. The Ozaukee County Sheriff's Office retrieved multiple guns, ammunition, night vision goggles, and electronic devices from that home on Fox Glen Road. They did not find any explosive devices. It all started May 8th. The neighbors heard multiple gunshots coming from the home. Suspect then barricaded himself in the house, made repeated threats to officers. Took over 38 hours before the 37-year-old suspect surrendered. The Greenfield Public Library is eliminating overdue fines on most materials starting June 1st. The library board says by getting rid of the fines, they hope more people will use the library's resources. The overdue fines previously accounted for just 0.06% of its annual budget. Library patrons still, of course, encouraged to return their materials on time. Brewers building for a good cause. The Brewers Community Foundation kicked off construction with Habitat for Humanity to build a new home. Habitat for Humanity will build 34 homes this year, all sold to first-time home buyers at an affordable price. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update. The Dow is still down 331 points at 42,346. The Nasdaq up 64, 19,207. S&P 500 down 10 points at 5,930. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a new crash, and this is going to be blocking the center lane, I-43 south at I-94 west. Expect some slowing in that area. Again, center lane blocked, I-43 south at I-94 west. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Light rain today. It's going to be breezy with a high only up to 48. Scattered light showers continuing overnight with a low 44, then light showers early tomorrow. Mostly cloudy, some clearing at a high 54. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, partly cloudy skies all 3 days, with highs in the upper 50s lakeside to the lower to mid 60s inland. Right now, Madison 45, Green Bay 48, Milwaukee 44. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1033.
When you hear that air conditioner working overtime, it's already past the time you should have USA Insulation out to the house. Vince Vitrano here. Give that AC unit and your electric bills a break by making a long-term investment that pays you back. USA Insulation is the answer to saving on your heating and cooling costs from day one. Between the heating and cooling season, that's when Jeff and his team have the most room on the schedule. Tell them Vinny sent you. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Here's to experiencing it all this summer in Wisconsin. Every deliciously cheesy, rockin', magical, fireworks-filled, festival-loving moment. There's Cheese Curd Fest in Ellsworth, Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg, Festival of the Arts in Stevens Point, and the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Honor the Earth Powwow in Hayward, Mile of Music in Appleton, Venetian Fest, Bratfest, Summerfest. So many fests for your whole crew. Find them all at travelwisconsin.com.
There's nothing out there close to this.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? Let's hear from my friend Marilyn.
I've been volunteering for over 30 years, so I got to know the community and loved it. We have a theater, community room, and we have bocce outside. They have gardens all over the campus that the residents tend to. Quilting groups, sewing groups, knitting groups, just lots and lots of amenities. Never a boring day.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory's arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Thanks for tuning in on this Wednesday hump day edition of Point Taken. Kristin, Brey, Steve Scaffidi. We got a great conversation because we sort of teed it up in the last half hour at the end. Access to everything when you talk about smartphones specifically. And joining us on the hotline here at WTMJ is Mark Sommerhauser, Communications Director at the Wisconsin Policy Forum. Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. It's good to be with you.
I love the fact that your organization is looking at this issue because I talk to a lot of parents in email and text and away from the show, and it's something that comes up a lot is the access to phones while in school, while sort of going through the educational process. You guys sort of did a research project on this, a study. Let's talk about some of the key findings, including maybe just start with what districts are doing and how many students are actually having that access to their cell phones.
Yeah, so thanks, Steve. So that piece of our research kind of centered on a survey that was recently conducted by the Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction. They sent out a survey asking about a lot of digital practices that districts have. One of their questions was, do you have any kind of policy around student cell phone use in schools and in the classroom. They did get pretty good response rate on this survey. More than 300 districts and independent charter schools did respond. So we got a decent picture, I think, from this survey of what districts are doing. And they really have quite a patchwork of policies. The vast majority of districts do have some sort of a policy restricting student cell phone use, but that can take different forms. So the most prevalent that we saw would be a restriction on students, basically banning students from being able to use their phones during instructional time. So those districts, they would allow students to bring their phones to school. They can have them in their lockers. In some cases, they can have them, on their person throughout the school day. They just can't use them in the classroom during instructional time, but they would be able to use them, for instance, in a hallway, in a cafeteria, some sort of a common space within the school. So that does seem to be by far the most common policy that we do see districts adopting. There is I would say a sizable minority of districts that are doing a complete ban on any use of phones during the school day. So that is something that some districts have. And then even smaller minority are still going with a sort of no blanket restriction approach. That doesn't mean that individual teachers or schools can't have restrictions, because in some of those districts that is the case. But they're just not imposing a blanket restriction at the district-wide level.
So what types of schools and districts appear to be going the more stringent way as far as restricting it, or like a full ban?
Yeah, so one thing that we found, geographically, there was not as much of a pattern as we might have thought. It was kind of more scattered throughout the state. Where we did find some patterns were that smaller districts as well as charter schools did seem in general to have more stringent restrictions. We classified the districts and the schools into different brackets based on their total enrollment, and we did see among the smaller districts a greater share that had full bans. Also, we did find that when we broke it down by urbanization, so there's 4 categories that we did there: city or urban districts, suburban, town, and rural districts. We did see a larger share of city districts or urban districts with full bans. However, the caveat to that is that there seemed to be a real split among the urban districts between the public districts, which pretty much looked like the rest of the state, and the independent charter schools, many of which are located in urban areas of our state, including in Milwaukee, which did seem to have definitely more stringent requirements. Many of them had full bans on cell phone use.
You described the current state of affairs as a patchwork sort of approach to this, some not allowing it, some allowing it, some variations between those two things. And you mentioned some of the reporting suggests the legislature is now looking at this. The attempt, I guess, the effort by the legislature would be let's have one policy across the state, all schools, that says, here's what makes sense, here's what limits access, here's what, probably the most important piece of all of this, gives kids the best access to education, and perhaps a smartphone is a tool for that. I'm not an expert on it, but at least it has to have some guidelines. Is that what they're looking at?
Yeah, so under the bill that's been brought forward in the legislature, it actually has passed the state assembly, is still awaiting a vote in the state senate. It would essentially set a baseline. So, in other words, it would set a sort of minimum restriction on student cell phone use. Districts could go more stringent than this law if they wanted under the legislation, but it would essentially codify for all districts what the majority of districts are already doing, a policy that the majority of districts already have adopted, which is that students would be able to bring their cell phones. They would be able to use them in common areas of the school, but they would not be able to use them in the classrooms during instructional time under this legislation. And, we can talk a little more about this, but I should say it does align very closely with bills and laws that other states are taking up. We're really seeing a national conversation about this right now, and a lot of states either have adopted these kind of laws or are debating them right now. Iowa's governor just signed a law very similar to the bill that's been proposed here in Wisconsin. In Illinois, Governor Pritzker is supporting a bill that is, again, very similar to the Wisconsin bill. So it really is a national movement and a national conversation that's happening.
We're talking to Mark Sommerhauser, who is the communications director for Wisconsin Policy Forum. And when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about, one, enforcement, because it's one thing to have a rule. It's another thing to actually enforce the rule. And two, also the public opinion, because I know that there's a lot of parents in the age of school shootings, who think it's really important for kids to have a phone on them in case of an emergency. So let's talk about both of those things when we come back on Point Taken.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are injury lawyers living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
Hi, I'm Rose Gray with Fox World Travel, and I'm excited to share that our exclusive guided Alaska land and sea journeys are now available for 2026. We partner with Holland America Line to curate the best and most sought-after experiences to Alaska. We send hundreds of travelers from Wisconsin to Alaska every year, along with experienced Fox tour managers for peace of mind. Don't just picture Alaska, live it. We have limited spots, and these tours are booking fast. Visit Fox World Travel online or call 866 Go Fox Go.
What if you could lose up to 1 pound of fat every single day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, they've got the secret, and it's helping people shed serious weight fast. Hey, it's Steve Scaffidi from WTMJ. I've been on the Milwaukee Weight Loss program since January and currently in the maintenance phase after losing, get this, 40 pounds. It was fast, easy, and safe, and I'm sticking with the incredible team at Milwaukee Weight Loss to keep the weight off. Their doctor-developed, easy-to-follow program helps people lose weight naturally and safely with no drugs, no risky injections, no meal kits, no shakes, no exercise required. It's not just about losing weight. It's about resetting your metabolism to keep it off for good with personal coaching every step of the way. And guess what? Their program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in just a month or two, up to 1 pound of fat a day. Book your free consultation now at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com or call 262-449-1180. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, I'm Eric Brown, owner of Siding Unlimited, reminding you to double check your home. Siding Unlimited is the proven exteriors professionals for 31 years. Family owned and locally operated right here in Wisconsin. Call Siding Unlimited and visit sidingunlimited.com.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I am Kristin Brey. He is Steve Scaffidi, and we are talking to Mark Sommerhauser, Communications Director for Wisconsin Policy Forum, about their recent research on Wisconsin joining the call for change on cell phones in schools. And so we have not passed any statewide legislation on what schools should be doing with phones. There's a lot of districts who do a lot of different things. But as we talk about where this is headed, Mark, what is the conversation? I don't know if you guys looked into this as far as enforcement, because I think maybe a full ban feels easier to enforce. But if the phone is in their pocket, is it? Because I know, was it Greenfield? There was a local district around Milwaukee that was talking about like getting police involved for enforcement. And I think that failed. But what's the conversation as far as, all right, we can have the rule, but how do we actually enforce the rule?
Yeah, so thanks. I mean, that was definitely something that we did look at a little bit, just because what we were hearing from individual districts, what DPI talked a little bit about in some of the material that it put out with its digital survey, is that, imposing these restrictions on students' cell phone usage while they're in schools and classrooms is one piece of things, but there are challenges around enforcement, particularly if you do have a policy, where a student still has a phone in their pocket, in their purse, in their backpack. And so we are seeing more schools, in addition to imposing these restrictions on usage, they're putting additional restrictions in place around what sort of when and where a student can actually possess their phone. And so that can take a lot of different forms. So some districts, including one district we spoke to the superintendent of, are doing an approach where they're only permitting students to keep phones in their locker so they can bring their school phone into school at the beginning of the day, but they put it in their locker. It stays in there throughout the day. If they're in the hallway, they can access the phone there at their locker, but otherwise it's not with them. One thing that more districts are doing is using these sealable pouches. You might have seen these if you go to like a concert or a show somewhere. So that's actually something that's becoming a little more prevalent, that the students will be required to use those pouches to put their phones in there. Others are doing something a little simpler where the students are just required to put their phone. The teacher will have like a caddy or a basket on his or her desk, and the students will be asked to put their phones in the basket at the start of class. They can pull them out at the end of class. So there's different approaches that we see happening, but they're all kind of centered around the fact that while districts may see some benefit in these usage restrictions, it can also be a challenge for teachers to enforce. And that's where some of these other restrictions might come into play.
It's sort of a general question, but content, sort of the supervision of content, does that ever come into play, or is it basically just access in these bigger, broader conversations?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. That's not something we were able to delve into just because we didn't really have data on it like we had the data from DPI on the usage restrictions. But I think that's another piece of it in terms of not just the usage, but what are students actually potentially accessing in school on their phones? It's a good question, and it's something that we might delve into in a future report.
Mark, we only have about a minute left, but as far as outside of schools, what is the public opinion? What are parents actually saying when it comes to wanting this or still wanting their kids to have a phone on them in case of an emergency?
Yeah, so in our report, we reference a survey that was done last year by Pew Research, which is a pretty widely respected organization. They did a survey with a really large sample, and they found pretty broad support for more than 2/3 of U.S. adults said they support banning middle and high school students from using cell phones during class. So that's basically very, mirrors what the legislation here in Wisconsin would ban. And interestingly, they did not find very much difference at all between adults who were parents and those who were not. A slightly smaller share of parents were in favor of these restrictions, but it was still close to 2/3 that did favor them. So pretty broad support for that kind of a restriction. When you move into the full ban on any sort of cell phone use anywhere in a school building, we do see somewhat of a drop-off in the public support. And so it does suggest that maybe there is a little bit of a sweet spot within public opinion for saying that, students perhaps should be permitted to bring these phones into school, but they shouldn't be permitted to use them during class time.
Great stuff. Mark Summerhauser, Communications Director, Wisconsin Policy Forum. Let's talk down the line. I'm sure there's a lot more develops on this story and others that will bend your ear on over the next months and years ahead. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Always good to be with you. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, I did look up Greenfield. They don't use police enforcement, but they have very strict regulations.
No, because it failed. But there was a conversation around it. I remember that there was as far as getting police involved, and there's a lot of people like, what?
Yeah, but they have very strict rules. They prohibit the use of cell phones, other personal electronic devices during instructional time, i.e. one in class. So that's an example of pretty strict rules. All right, after the break, a mini version of Ask Us Anything.
Single segment.
Yeah, we'll ask each other questions.
Okay.
How about that? That's next.
This time, that station won't make your ad. Next time, another station will come up with it. If there's one thing your small budget needs, it's consistency with your message and your media buy. It's easy to buy the flavor of the month. It's difficult to trust a plan because you'd probably be experimenting. Our plans have been proven to work. We'll get you the lowest rates, give you a consistent message that sets your business apart, and then we'll build you efficient top-of-mind awareness. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. We'll make your ads potent, memorable, and effective. Whether it's radio, TV, billboards, or digital, our understanding of the market and long-standing relationships are unmatched. Anderson Smith represents a substantial amount of advertising billing, which will benefit you in getting much more for your ad dollar. Our compensation model is designed to make it affordable for businesses like yours to use us. And we hold on to our clients because what we do works, and they trust us. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max, keeping you updated on culture and creativity.
I've had the opportunity through What's on Tap to talk to some filmmakers that people will recognize and ask them specifically, like, why aren't you filming in Wisconsin? Would you film in Wisconsin if you could? It was David Zucker who told me it's cheaper to film in London.
What's on Tap with Sandy Max, weeknights at 6 on WTMJ and the What's on Tap podcast on WTMJ.com.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian designed recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases. And it's free. Stop in today and save during our Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown Mattress Factory showroom.
Take your family to the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford or Oshkosh today for the Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry and just $7.99. Kids 5 and under eat free from the kids menu. Just walk in for your $7.99 fish fry. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mine Shaft restaurant.
A Brewers group outing is the best way to celebrate any special occasion. Whether it's a birthday party, anniversary, or bachelor party, baseball is better with the group. Grab your crew of just 15 or more for an event you won't forget. Brewers account reps make your day at the ballpark a breeze. Plus, get set up with customizable tailgate spaces, seating blocks in your favorite location at American Family Field, and much more. Start planning your group outing now at brewers.com/groups.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. Or ask us anything on Point Taken. Got a burning question? Give us a call or text on the Siding Unlimited talk and text line.
No, not really.
855-616-1620.
Good thought, though.
We got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes for a very, very short Ask Us Anything. And so we figured maybe we would ask each other something.
Yeah, I got mine.
All right, you want to go first?
Tied into our last conversation. At what age would you give your child, or children if you have more than one, access to a cell phone?
I think Mike and I are on the point. I mean, granted, Frankie's 20 months, so who knows what the world will look like 10 years from now. It's one of those things where I feel like you think you're not going to give your kid like have the TV on. You're like, oh, I would be the perfect parent.
I'm not going to be that.
And then the pressure comes in. Yeah. So this is ideally what we are on the same page as now. And this is no shame to parents who buckle under the pressure and do it earlier. I'm a big fan of you can get a flip phone, like middle school into high school, so you can have access to calling and getting a hold of us and us getting a hold of you. I think a smartphone, oh, God, if we could hold off until sophomore or junior year, that would be awesome. And that, yeah, so that is, ideally, the later, the better.
You say sophomore or junior year of high school?
Yeah.
You know what the average for?
It's like 11.
11. Good. You must be doing your homework.
But it's also like I hear this from other parents is it's one thing to say that's what we're going to do. It's another thing that once all your kids' friends have phones, or one of our teammates, Selena, her daughter's friends have older siblings. So the idea that the older siblings have phones and then the younger kids want phones and the friends of the younger friends want phones. And so it's just like that pressure. And so it's one of those things where you kind of have to have a collective decision as a community of like, we are holding off. So it's not like the peer pressure that one kid has it and one kid's getting left out of all the conversations.
And if you talk about some of the generational differences between your generation and my generation, we didn't even have to think about this.
I know. See, I had a Nokia brick phone in high school.
I had one of those for work.
Where I played Snake.
Yeah, those things.
And that was kind of the... I also heard something interesting the other day, and then I want to ask you my question, about like just emotional intelligence and like having to sit with your feelings and how for like Gen X and older and like a little bit of millennials, Like, you didn't have the distraction in your pocket all the time of, like, having to think about your stuff, having to think about what was on your mind. Like, immediately, whether it's social media or a game on your phone or scrolling the news, like, the avoidance of being able to not sit with what's going on with you and find something else to focus on is constant. All right, my question for you is, are there any words or mottos that you live by?
Try to do the right thing. My dad told me that a long time ago.
All right, so that's what kind of is in your head all the time?
Always try to do the right thing. I'm trying to think of other words or mottos. Honesty is important, obviously. You know, I'm not perfect. I was a jerk when I was a young kid. And
were you?
Yeah, I mean.
Cocky? Were you cocky?
No. I just.
What do you mean by jerk then?
I wasn't thoughtful. I wasn't necessarily nice to everyone. Okay. Just a young adolescent. Maybe a little bit cocky just from, the way that young men can be cocky in their college years. But I wasn't mean to anybody or anything like that. I didn't get in fistfights all the time.
So then what you mean, how were you a jerk if you weren't mean to anyone?
I don't think I appreciated other people's commentary or thoughts or feelings.
But you do now.
I do now, yeah. So that hopefully that's an improvement over the last however many years that is, which is a lot of them, more than you've been alive. It's a good question, though. Yeah.
I just know if there's like a thing that rings true.
You know what's coming up after the break?
Salute to service.
Yes, we got a great story today. A local pastor and a fire department chaplain for many departments, and an awesome, as is always the case, an awesome nomination. Those folks are going to be in here in studio after the news, which is next on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I'm the football guy, definitely not the outdoor home projects guy. So when it comes to things like deck building, Excel Custom Decks is the true go-to expert. Family owned and operated, Excel Custom Decks uses the finest materials and products and combines that with superior craftsmanship. If you want your outdoor area to shine this summer, contact Excel Custom Decks now. Whatever you dream up for that perfect deck, pergola, or outdoor kitchen, Rob and his family can build it. Excel Custom Decks, decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com today.
I'm very familiar with Gruber Law Offices because they're always out in the community.
Gruber Law Offices are known to be honest, hardworking.
They're always involved in our neighborhoods.
Gruber Law Offices make our community a better place.
They are the best.
For nearly 40 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped people throughout Wisconsin. If you're injured, we're here to help. One call, that's all.
Wisconsin would not be the same without Gruber Law Offices.
With the trees budding and the flowers blooming, take a beautiful drive this week through the Kettle Moraine Forest for a free dinner at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. It is the most unique and affordable dining destination in Wisconsin, and your second dinner's free. Order your favorite steak, seafood, the pan-fried walleye, a fresh salad, steak and lobster, even prime rib on Wednesdays. Any entree, your second dinner is free. Desserts, my favorite part of dinner, are also buy one, get one free. Unwind with a sweet old-fashioned, 20 bourbons, 100 wines. Celebrate a birthday, celebrate an anniversary, or just a quiet, free dinner with your sweetie in one of those 8 dining rooms. The Fox and Hound, easy to get to, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine. The spring drive is spectacular. It's coming to life. Fox and Hound's gift cards make perfect year-round gifts, as your second dinner is always free. Order online at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Walk on in tonight for your free Fox and Hounds dinner.
I know that 1 in 10 veterans struggle daily with mental health issues. Suicide is a real risk. If you or someone you love is struggling today, you are not alone. Support is at reachoutwis.org to find local resources available for you and your loved ones. Reach out today.
Paid for by Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment with support by the Medical College of Wisconsin, the War Memorial Center, and reachoutwis.org.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
At Wisconsin's own AccuNet Mortgage, our closing costs are typically $1,000 to $3,000 less than the banks or the mortgage guys with the Rocket for exactly the same rate. Find out how much you can save at accunet.com.
Steel, walk behind, zero turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Birds flying high, you know.
No. You just entered the no-fly zone.
They'll throw to second. The runner is out! Oh! Contreras got another one right on the bag. Perfection nation.
Tune in to our game day coverage starting today at 11:35. The Brewers host the Orioles at AmFam Field. This series is sponsored by Steinhaffel's Memorial Day Sale. We are the home of the Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11:02, we have light rain, 46 degrees. That rain's going to continue today. Breezy today with a high only up to 48. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. President Trump will soon meet with the president of South Africa. This after Trump claimed genocide was being committed against white Afrikaners and accepted dozens into the U.S. as refugees. The South African government denies the allegations and says whites are not being singled out for persecution. House Speaker Mike Johnson hopes the budget reconciliation package, which Republicans call the one big beautiful bill, will wind up on the House floor later today. The latest from ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
Overnight, hundreds of amendments were floated in the Rules Committee, the final stop for a bill before it hits the House floor. But what will matter most are the changes Speaker Mike Johnson's prepared to make to get GOP holdouts on board. The package would make the 2017 tax cuts permanent and temporarily eliminate taxes on tips and overtime. It would make substantial changes to the Medicaid program and boost border and defense spending. Opponents say the bill would significantly increase the national debt.
Target now says its sales in the first quarter hit $23.8 billion, down from $24.5 billion a year ago. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
The company now announcing it expects sales will be worse than previously projected, saying customers just aren't shopping as much for non-essentials, citing backlash for ending diversity initiatives and uncertainty over those tariffs. But they didn't give details on price increases because of tariffs, at least for now, instead saying it would continue to make adjustments to pricing.
In Oak Creek,
Work moves to adopt a resolution approving a conditional use permit for a fueling plaza. Motion carries.
members of the Oak Creek Common Council approved 3 resolutions for the construction of the Buc-ee's fueling station on Tuesday. Oak Creek Neighbors United say the city is still pushing for leaders to take more time to look over the project. Better eyesight will soon be possible thanks to research from zebrafish. Ophthalmologist Dr. Ross Collery with the Medical College of Wisconsin tells Wisconsin's Afternoon News how zebrafish's eyes are similar to human eyes.
They have many more cone photoreceptors, which is what we use for bright light vision and color vision. And those are the cells that can be really badly damaged in eye disease. And so if we can understand how the fish's eye works, and if we can look at disease models when it does not work, then we can use those as parallels for human blinding disorders.
Dr. Collery says if the research is successful, it could eliminate eye diseases like glaucoma. In Madison,
City Hall is actually listening. When you write us or call us or email us with a good idea, we will do what we can to put that into practice.
That's Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway talking about the new art on 2 of the city's garbage trucks. The idea inspired by a 3-year-old resident named Fred who wanted to see a different color on the garbage trucks. The East Madison garbage truck now features a mural of the Madison skyline, while the West Madison garbage truck features a turkey. See both images of both trucks on our website, WTMJ.com. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed picture on Wall Street. The Dow still down 345 points. NASDAQ up 76. S&P 500 down 9. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at AnnexWealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 11:05.
It's Debbie Lazaga, and I'm so excited because Kohler Services just transformed my old bathtub into a beautiful new Luxstone shower. Kohler Services made it so easy. They came to my home and helped me design my custom shower, and they hauled away my old tub. Stephen, Luke, and Will were focused and professional installers. I'd recommend them to anyone. You can request your free quote for a custom Kohler Luxstone shower by visiting KohlerServicesWI.com. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
The Zeidler building was put on lockdown. City Hall was put on lockdown, both of those in downtown Milwaukee.
And diving into the details with Julia Fellow.
For people at home, it was certainly scary seeing hundreds of people being evacuated. More than 1,000 people in the Zeidler building alone can work there.
Tune in to Wisconsin's afternoon news, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care, and they do it every day with compassion and with empathy. They've got locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. I've been to the locations. I love how they treat the people who live there. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms. They offer early memory loss classes. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. Kindness at the core. It's Azura Living. Check them out at azuraving.com. It's Azura.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All sports desk. Brewers clinched a series victory. Milwaukee hit 3 home runs en route to a 5-2 win over the Orioles. Milwaukee will go for the series sweep this afternoon. Coverage begins at 11:35 here on WTMJ. Aaron Rodgers has yet to announce a decision on where he'll play next year. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur believes Rodgers will sign with a team from the AFC.
They know what they're doing. I'm sure they're confident in what they're doing, and I would fully expect him to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Packers scheduled to play the Steelers in Week 8 of the regular season. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We have a couple of crashes. It looks like this one is going to be off right, blocking the right shoulder. I-43 South at I-94 West. Also a crash on the ramp from Holt Avenue to I-43 South. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Light rain today, breezy, high 48. Light scattered showers overnight, 44. Light showers early tomorrow, then mostly cloudy. Some clearing with a high of 54. Partly cloudy Friday, highs 56 to 60. Saturday and Sunday, partly cloudy skies with highs both days in the upper 50s lakeside to the mid-60s inland. Right now, Madison 45, 49 in Green Bay, and 45 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:09.
Hearing the stories and recognizing the heroes in our lives that continue to make a difference. This is Steve Scaffidi's Salute to Service, presented by Waterstone Bank. Here's Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
And every day this week we are honoring some of those first responders. It's a rare week because we have 6, actually. We have co-honorees on Thursday's program. We got a good one today. All of these stories are vastly different, and they're all touching different pieces of the story, the great story that is the first responder legacy, right? The things they do every day for all of us who, some of these things go unreported. Some are reported, not necessarily in the nicest way, but this is a positive story, and today is a really good one. We are joined in studio by the nominator. She is Kristi Yaramillo, who nominated her husband, Mark, who's also in studio here, who's not only a chaplain, but also a pastor, and your co-pastors at Norway Lutheran Church in Wind Lake. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start with you, Kristi, because you started the process. You nominated Mark, who, and I've read what he does for a lot of different districts. I've read some of the things he does in his role as a faith leader. Why did you nominate him?
Because there's nobody better.
You're obviously biased.
I am a little biased, but I've been working side by side with him at the church for 20 years plus now. So we do a lot of things together, but the firefighter chaplaincy, he does all on his own. You know, I watch that one from afar, and I'm impressed every day at the commitment he gives, the time he gives to the ladies and gentlemen that he helps, and just the fantastic work ethic he has to help people.
I'm going to ask him the same question, but when you know him as a pastor,
yes,
and you said you let him sort of do his chaplaincy, how do some of the things that he does as pastor or co-pastor in this case sort of translate to that, do you think?
Well, the love of people is an immediate transfer. I mean, both of us care a lot about the people we serve at Norway Lutheran Church and have served at other churches. And I think that it easily translates into the community. We care about the community folks too. And when they came to him and said, we need a chaplain for the volunteer fire service then, it was Wind Lake Volunteer Firefighter Service then.
So Mark, for people who maybe are unfamiliar, what does a chaplain for a fire department actually do?
That's a great question. Funny story, just a little brief one. When the chief came to me back in 2011, he goes, would you be our chaplain? And I asked him specifically, well, what does that mean? He looked at me and said, I have no idea.
I just know that we need one.
We need one because that's what they tell us we need. And
Honest answer.
That's right. And so it really was a learning process. And what I learned was that the first and foremost, to be a chaplain, I do the official acts. I do debriefings and defusings. Those are events that come up after major events, suicides, killings, deaths, those kind of things. And it's an assessment. It's to make sure that the first responders, and that includes not only my fire, medics, EMTs, but it also includes the sheriff's department, police department, it can be the hospital personnel, all of them. We have to make sure that they're okay. We have to make sure, and that's what a defusing is. It's immediately after the event to make sure that they're stable.
It's not just Norway Fire Department either. You touch a lot of different departments. Just run through that list.
All of the departments that are west of 94. So I have Norway, Waterford, Wind Lake, Michigan. I have everything from Caledonia to Test Corners to Union Grove, Burlington, and that's the fire departments. And then you include in there all the sheriff's departments as well as all of the police departments for all the different municipalities.
Unbiased again, everybody loves him. Once you meet him and work with him, they want to come back.
I can tell you that I know a bunch of police chaplains, including the one in Oak Creek, and they are well loved and appreciated. So again, the question I asked Kristin, so what translates, and I kind of know the answer, but from your role as co-pastor to your role as chaplain?
It's not hard at all. To be a pastor in our tradition, and I think, well, now I won't even say that, to be a pastor as we see it, you have to love people. Mm-hmm. All of them, their warts, their beautiful marks, everything, because it gives you a chance to not only begin to see, we're obviously Christian pastors, just to let everybody know. And so I believe that every single person created by God is a beautiful expression. I get to meet them. I get to talk to them. I get to see them. So it's not something that's a burden. It's a blessing. With that understanding, that's how we do our ministry. We look at our church. We look at the people that come in. Whether you're a member or not, I don't care. I get to meet you. I get to be with you. And so that passion and I guess that love is what allowed me to be a chaplain. To be very, very honest, the reason I initially started this is I wanted to drive fire trucks. I wanted to drive ambulances.
You and every 3-year-old toddler.
It's true. And not only that, they dress you up.
Oh, yeah.
So you get to wear the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so the first time they stuck me behind... They're training me, obviously. The first time they stuck me behind the engine, they're like, go ahead, put on the lights. And I'm like, yay! That's excellent. That's how it started, Steve, just again, to be honest.
That's a great... I love the honesty.
Yeah, and I love the humor that you've brought to it as well. We're going to take a break here, but I want to get to... there are difficult days in this position, and I want to talk a little bit about your role in some of those conversations. Not specific, but generally. We are joined by our third honoree. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to play the feature after the break because we sort of had so much fun talking. We're going to play the feature after the break, then we're going to come back and ask him a lot more questions. Our third honoree is Mark Jaramillo and his lovely wife, Kristin, who nominated him. Quick break, feature. We'll play it right out of the break, and then we'll get to our questions. This is a good one. I'm enjoying the heck out of this day. All right, quick break.
More of Steve Scaffidi Salute to Service on WTMJ, presented by Waterstone Bank. After this.
Traffic is sponsored by Capri Community's Enjoy Life Active Aging Symposium. Live life to the fullest at Capri's Enjoy Life Symposium on June 4th. This free event for older adults includes speakers, exhibitors, activities, and more. Register at enjoylifesymposium.com.
We love being a trusted friend in the community for those who need an attorney but don't know where to turn. Our clients aren't the kind of people who typically bring lawsuits. Our clients have been hurt in a crash or accident and need our help and advice. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak & Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are injury attorneys living, working, and giving back in our community. When you need help from exceptional personal injury lawyers, go to Pasternak & Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ. Steve Scaffidi for Advent. Snoring, tossing and turning, restless nights of sleep. You don't have to live with that. I had that problem. I had those problems, I should say, 5 years ago. I did something about it. I went to Advent. They fixed my nose. That's the simple way of putting it. We went there for a 30-minute visit, Kathy and I. They put me at ease. They answered my questions. We did a really simple sleep study at home. Why was Kathy there? Because sleep, if you have a partner, or a spouse or whatever is a, sort of a co-problem there. If you're snoring, you're waking them up, that's not a good thing. So my root cause, sinuses, nasal passages, the thing they call the breathing triangle. I didn't even know I had a breathing triangle before I went there, but after a short procedure done in office, breathing better than ever. Here's the cool part, sleeping through the whole night. And I don't snore. Ask Kathy if you see her. If you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you to find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better and your life better for that matter. Go to adventknows.com, schedule an appointment today because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
$1 doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee, Waukesha, Fort Atkinson, and Jefferson. Griffin. The buck stops here. The deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Hello, this is Aaron Lipsky, Milwaukee Fire Department. You are listening to Steve Scaffidi, Salute to Service.
Hi, I'm Christy Jaramillo. I'm nominating my husband, Mark Jaramillo, for the Salute to Service.
Hi, I'm Mark Jaramillo. I am the chaplain with the Norway Fire Department.
I think he's one of the most giving people I've ever known in my life.
I've actually been a pastor coming up on 30 years, and very proud that 27 of those years have actually been with my wife as colleagues. And this absolutely shapes everything that I am, do, and how I even relate to this world.
He is always going. He's always trying to find the next way, the better way to help people. And once he connected with the firefighter community out here, he just knew that he had to connect in the full capacity.
If I'm going to be a pastor, if I'm going to be anybody, I have to be authentic. And because of that, I've always looked at what can I do to make a difference. 2011, I was approached by the chief of Norway Fire Department, and he looked at me and said, "Do you want to be a chaplain?" I looked at him and I went, "Well, what the heck does that mean?" He goes, "I don't know, but we'll figure it out together." And at that point, I had a pretty amazing experience just getting to be part of the department, but I quickly learned that for first responders, if you really truly want to be a part of their world, and if you want them to be able to trust you, you have to be one of them.
So he did all the training.
I ended up getting my certification as a firefighter, and then shortly after that, I became an EMT. And that was probably the best gift I could give to myself. Not only did I learn new skills, but it allowed me to really walk with people, particularly our first responders and all the stuff they have to deal with.
It's been a little crazy around here to juggle everything.
I work with not only Norway Fire Department, but I have Waterford, Michigan, Burlington, and all of those departments, as well as the sheriffs and police departments, have consistently sent me people to help, or people to talk to, or people who just want to have a person to reflect with.
The things he can do in a conversation now, he can help people tell their stories in a way that can help them get through it, whatever it is.
It's enhanced everything. And I can say that because my job as a pastor is to bring a real experience of life, but I have to bring it in a very real context, a real way, in a real world with very real eyes. I don't wear rosy-colored glasses. As a leader, I have to live the life that I keep asking them to live, which is a life that's fruitful, productive, as well as loving. It doesn't surprise me when maybe 2 or 3 months after I've helped them dealing with a stroke or some kind of crisis, they show up at my church and they're like, "I know you."
What does salute to service mean to you?
I'm humbled. Brother, I'm a grunt. Whenever I heard from my wife that this was an honor given to me, I'm like, come on. I see our sheriffs, our police, our dispatchers, our hospital employees. I see what they go through, and I can tell you, these are amazing people. The medics, the EMTs, all of them. Their love and commitment to this community transcends any kind of award that I could see. So for me to get this, good Lord, I don't know. I can't believe I got it. I'll stop there.
That is a good place to stop. And I asked you about the connection between pastor and chaplain, and it's pretty evident that you understand that those things sort of match and come together. Our third Salute to Service honoree this week is Mark Jaramillo. He's joined by his nominator, his wife, Kristin. That's not an easy job, and I don't want to just gloss over because you're a fun guy and you're obviously an incredible communicator, which I appreciate as someone who does what I do and what Kristin does. But you have difficult conversations, and I would imagine, again, that the faith plays a role in that. You're a chaplain for a reason because you have that infrastructure, that basis for having those conversations. When you have those difficult conversations, I imagine it all comes into play.
It does, particularly the faith element. But to be a chaplain, you have to be cognizant that not everybody follows the same line of faith, the same approach, whether it's being a Christian or not, or even looking at those who are Jewish or Muslim. You have to be aware of that. So being a chaplain, you have to be able to walk with people where they're at. And the faith element comes in when they bring it. It's not my job as a chaplain to evangelize. It is my job to be there in the way they need so that it's, again, for them, an honest reflection of what they're dealing with. They're first responders. All of them, including myself, have consistently seen things that no human being wants to see.
And real quick, not just that commitment to your job, but one of the things that was mentioned in the piece and that Kristin mentioned in her nomination, obviously a pastor, chaplain, trained as a firefighter, trained as an EMT, and I believe also a licensed therapist.
Yeah, he graduated last Sunday.
That's what I was saying when we first interviewed you, that you also, so lifelong learner, this one over here.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, age is not a barrier to education, and Mark Jaramillo is a tremendous example of that. We asked you in the piece what Salute to Service means to you. I'll ask Kristin as we sort of wrap it up. What do you think it means?
Salute to Service is a wonderful way to say thank you. I mean, there's so many people over the years that he's helped. And I think this is one way for all of us to say thank you for what you do.
Incredibly well said. And I've made this point every day on the 3 days of Waterstone Banks and WTMJ Salute to Service. How you write a nomination matters. And the ones that we eventually pick are the ones that stand out because of what the nominator says about the person. The person, we know they're all amazing because they're all first responders in their own different ways. And we have incredible people that get nominated that I can't pick, and I wish I could. And I try to reach out to all those people. But thank you for the great nomination, Kristin. And Mark, keep up the good work. I mean, just that is you talk about a life well served. You are demonstrating that each and every day. And the commitment to your education, the commitment to your work in the faith community is absolutely, first and foremost, impressive. So thank you for the work that you do as a first responder.
Absolutely.
We are doing this because of the great folks at Waterstone Bank. We have a bunch of gifts for you that we will mail to you. They're gift certificates from the Packing House and Botanas and some of our other great partners. The Air and Water Show. You get to go to the Air and Water Show and see the Blue Angels. How about that?
Awesome.
So all of those great things are a small reward for your great service. But I want to thank you both for being here for our Salute to Service.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break and wrap up the show on WTMJ.
When selecting a remodeling contractor, you want to work with someone who listens to you, communicates well, and is open-minded and innovative. I'm David Calley, owner and president of Dimension Design Build Remodel in Brookfield. My commitment to our clients is to provide the best solution for their projects. As an award-winning design-build firm specializing in remodeling and additions, we are committed to building healthy spaces that enhance your living environment. We are proud members of NARI and the MBA, and our certified professionals specialize in kitchen and bath remodeling and aging in place. Visit DimensionDBR.com to learn more about our remodeling process and to review completed project photos. Whether renovating your home or building an addition, Dimension Design Build Remodel is the right company for your project. Call 262-402-6602 or visit DimensionDBR.com.
I'm Jean Nemovitz of Bruce's team. Together with my husband Bruce and our dedicated team members, Erica and Cindy, we're here to guide you through one of life's biggest transitions, moving from your longtime home to a new one. With empathy, kindness, and understanding, we'll walk with you every step of the way, making the process as smooth and stress-free as possible. Let us take you from overwhelmed to I can do this. Call us today at 262-242-6177 or visit brucesteam.com.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradington Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradington Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Fjords brings you modern Scandinavian designed recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases, and it's free. Stop in today and save during our Memorial Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture on Capitol Drive in Brookfield, Highway 100 in Greenfield, or our downtown Mattress Factory showroom.
Well, there were high hopes for your young squad. Maybe your baby birds weren't ready to leave the nest.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane.
It's Jackson Chariot goes deep at Coors.
The Brewers host the Orioles for a 3-game set. This series is sponsored by Steinhoffel's Memorial Day Sale. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts today at 11:35. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Quicker show today, but thanks to Pastor Mark Adamillo and his lovely wife, Kristin, who wrote an incredible nomination. And Mark, you can see why the guy, he's just impressive on a lot.
He is impressive. He's someone you want to be around.
Yeah, he's fun and funny and smart, and boy, he's good at his job. And he became highly recommended from some of the people that he's come across that I happen to also know. So that's 3 of 6. We have a double honorees tomorrow. Co-honorees.
Double whammy.
Yeah, which is a very good story. It's one of those life-saving stories. So we have a firefighter from Milwaukee, and we have the individual who rescued him, one of his peers, and then the chief, Aaron Lipsky of Milwaukee Fire Department, who's always a good conversation.
All three will be here?
Yeah, so we're going to have all the seats filled for our salute to service, which will be back at its regular time at 11:30 tomorrow. I really enjoyed the show today. I thought we covered a lot of stuff in a shorter show.
We did.
Yeah, I mean, some information about what the president's doing. As I watched, the president is meeting with South African president in the Oval Office. The decked out Oval Office. He's certainly added a lot of gold. Look at the gold in there now. What do you think those trophies are on the mantle? What are those about? Golf trophies?
No.
No?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. A lot of press in there. They've jammed up. And there's that Elon Musk I see in the background. How about that? Elon.
Is it? Oh, he is still there.
Yeah,
he is still there. Well, I mean, that is his home country. We have not dug into this at all as far as the refugee status for the 49 white Afrikaners.
He found room for the 49.
And just, this is probably what I'll spend my afternoon doing, is digging into this more, because the chyron for CNN is South African president meets with Trump as relations sour. So digging a little bit deeper into that and talking about it tomorrow.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we have Jeremy Janine talking about local stuff as well. So
we're also going to have Dr. Keekly, who's a urologist. He's going to join us to talk a little bit more about pancreatic cancer and what diagnoses usually look like, especially for older gentlemen, and what that means. So not more health than politics, but as we usually say, politics affect everything.
Yeah, certainly we've talked about that. All right, so we're going to hand it off to Connie Weber, who'll take it from here, local news, and then, of course, the Brewers.
Thanks, guys. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:30. Disapproval overall on President Trump for his early actions in his second term. Latest Marquette Law School poll shows nationally a majority of people think the country's on the wrong track, mostly disapproving of the tariffs, continued inflation, spending cuts, and foreign policy, especially of the Russia-Ukraine war. Voters approved of the president's border security policies, his handling of immigration, and are in favor of tax cuts. Starm's Early Childhood Learning Center now free of lead dust, but students will finish the rest of their academic school year at Starm's Discovery Learning Center to limit any learning disruptions. MPS still working through lead remediation at La Follette School, Brown Street, and Westside Academies, while also cleaning one classroom at Highmount Community School. Time for some news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is down 327 points, 42,349. The Nasdaq up 86, 19,229. The S&P 500 down 7 at 5,933. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Still the ramp from Holt Avenue to I-43 South. A crash in that ramp. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Light rain today, breezy, high 48. Scattered light showers overnight, 44. Light showers early tomorrow, mostly cloudy, some clearing, high 54. Partly cloudy Friday. We have highs 56 lakeside, 60 inland. Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at partly cloudy skies with highs both days in the upper 50s lakeside to the lower to mid 60s inland. Right now in Madison, we have 45 degrees, Green Bay 49, and in Milwaukee 45 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. Brewers up next.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for QC Kinetics. For more than 8 years, QC Kinetics has been the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain. You heard that right. Non-surgical relief. More than 50,000 patients who had knee pain, back pain, now living pain-free. Those with shoulder and hip pain, it's gone. The regenerative cell therapy restores tissues in your achy joints. Dr. Caravelli's team uses biologic growth factors with robust healing properties carefully and strategically placed in your joint. And there's no surgery. Remember that. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, repairing the old tissue. Here's what you do. You call today, 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation. 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
From the biggest stars to the greatest moments, Behind the Bucks is Bucks history like you've never heard it before. Go behind the scenes of the Emmy-nominated Giannis documentary. Get the real story of the blockbuster trade for Damian Lillard. Hear the origin of Bucks in 6. It's all on Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus audio network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Maybe you don't need a new garage door. You just need to keep the door you love looking good and functioning well. Vince Vitrano for Lifetime Door Company, where they're always available to service your existing door. In the meantime, some tips from Rick Burr at Lifetime. Do not use a pressure washer on that door. It can damage the finish and paint. Do not remove parts for cleaning. Leave that to the experts. Do use a silicone-based lubricant 4 times a year. And if you need a can, stop by the showroom at 124th and Burleigh. Tell them Vinny sent you, and they'll give you one for free. LifetimeDoor.net.
Are you looking for an accounting firm that can service your growing business's needs? SVA Certified Public Accountants will deliver your organization with measurable results in the areas of tax planning, consulting, outsourced accounting, succession planning, and more. Nationally recognized by Forbes as one of America's best accounting and tax firms, yet local to the Midwest, we've got the knowledge and expertise to take your business to the next level. Go to sva.com/baseball to learn how we can provide your business with measurable results.
Carbless ready-to-drink cocktails are here for your flawless summer. Hey, it's Brad Nortman. Drinking Carbless and watching the crew is already a win, but now that combination is about to get a whole lot better. Carbless is offering you a sweet night at the ballpark. Your chance to win 14 tickets with food and drinks included to the July 26th game is just one shopping trip away. From now until the end of May, head to your local retailer and scan the QR code to register for your chance to win this amazing prize. A flawless summer night at the ballpark awaits.
3, 2, 1. Nimmo back at the track. Gone! Dahl on the track, Dahl at the wall. Goodbye. Home run. Fly ball right field. Hit a ton. We're tied.
It's time for baseball on the Brewers Radio Network, presented by American Family Insurance.
2-2. Down in the dirt, gets away from Contreras, but not far. He'll throw to second. The runner is out! Oh! Contreras fly ball deep right field. This is way, way back. Watch this baby fly. Goodbye.
Today, the crew welcomed the Baltimore Orioles to beautiful American Family Field.
Big pitch. Uribe has his sign. Kicks and deals. Swing and a miss. Blew it right
at the track, at the wall. Bye-bye baseball. Sal Frelick ties this game at 2.
Now it's time for the On Deck Show, built by Menards on the Brewers Radio Network, presented by American Family Insurance.
On another gross day outside, it's a day to be thankful for the roof here at American Family Field as the Brewers
and Orioles will wrap up this 3-game series here this afternoon in Milwaukee. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the On Deck Show built by Menards alongside Josh Maurer and our producer and engineer Ken Sommerfeld. Lane Grindle with you as the Crew tries to sweep the Orioles here this afternoon, taking the first 2 games of this series on Monday and Tuesday. And the Brewers will hand the ball to their rookie Chad Patrick to try and do so. It'll be right-hander Tomoyuki Sugano on the mound for the Orioles. He's been their best starting pitcher over the course of this season so far here in 2025. Brewers trying to build off a little momentum. They've won 3 in a row. Meanwhile, the Orioles have lost 8 straight. We'll talk to Josh when we come back after this on the On Deck Show built by Menards on the Brewers Radio Network.
Brewers Radio is sponsored by